Chick is hot.
Hi, I'm Felicia.
Hi, I'm Giancarlo. Hope you didn't catch me saying the chick is hot.
And this is our review of
City of Remnants.
City of Remnants.
I played hot games.
So in this city, there are a lot of ugly-looking men and a really sex-appealing lady.
How do you know these are men? These are alien. This could be a female. You don't know.
No, that's
Just
not.
because it looks like a chicken, it could be a female.
He's definitely a guy. He has the Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Well,
maybe
the race. Those are women, and the guys are skinny.
He's Asian, definitely. Look.
In City of Remnants, players control refugees turned gang members to become the most powerful gang and survive the harsh new world they've been sent to by the oppressive Yugai, an alien race bent on a galactic conquest. In the box, you'll find a board game showing different districts, 4 player mats of different race and colors, 53 development tiles of different colors, 18 development draft cards, 40 gang leader starter cards, 31 gang member units, 30 black market cards, 20 Yugai control unit coordination cards, 1 YCU alert reference card, 1 cloth bag for the YCU tokens, 20 YCU tokens, 37 renown tokens, or the VPs for this game, 54 product tokens, 91 Ark tokens, the money used in this game, 4 turn tracker tokens, 4 influence tracker tokens, 64 plastic figures, 10 battle dice, 1 6-sided die, a first player token, and of course the rulebook. Become the gang with the most renown to win.
Here's how to set up. Place the board in the middle of the table on the correct side for the number of players you are. Give each player a player mat, placing the turn token marker on 0 and the influence token on 4. Now give each player their starter deck for the gangs they are playing. They shuffle it and place it in a face-down pile in front of them, and then draw 4 cards. Collect all the figures of your gang, placing 7 on your player mat and keeping the rest in a pile nearby. Shuffle the rest of the gang member cards and reveal the top 4. Shuffle the black market cards and reveal the top 4 as well. Separate the development draft cards into their respective colors. Then randomly select 3 of each type. Reveal them and place the matching development tiles on them. Create a pile of Ark Tokens. This is the currency used in the game, and give each player 2,000 worth. Make 2 separate piles close to the Ark pile for product and renown. Shuffle the YCU coordinate cards and place them face down. Place the YCU reference card close to it for easy access. Place all the YCU tokens in the cloth bag and mix them up. Everyone rolls the 6-sided die, and the player with the highest roll receives the first player token. You're now ready to play.
Each round is divided into 4 phases that must be completed in order. These are Reset, Player Turns, Yugai Patrol, and Award Renown. The first reset phase will be skipped on the first round. During the reset phase, players may discard as many cards as they wish from their hand so that they can draw up to a maximum of the influence they have. Now each player receives 2,000 arcs, and discard all the remaining gang and black market cards to draw an extra 4 from each, replacing the discarded and bought ones. Now the player turn is the meat of the game. Here, starting with the first player moving clockwise, each player will take 4 turns, one at a time. Each turn, a player can perform an action and play cards. The actions available to them are Recruit, Move, Produce and Develop, Buy, Sell, and Refresh. And they are also conveniently written on your player mat with a description. When you did an action, move your turn token on your player mat up 1.
Let's talk about the actions. A player can bid on a gang member in the recruit phase. The player who takes this action will bid on a gang member, and then in clockwise order, each player will let up the bid, or pass. If the initial bidder won, he takes the gang member card, adds it to his hand, and grabs one of his figures from the reserve pool and places it on his playmat. His action is done. If, however, he was outbidded, the winning player does all the steps mentioned, and moves his turn marker up 1. Now the initial bidder places a bid on another gang member until he recruits 1. The move action allows a player to move a number of figures equal to his influence up to 3 spaces. When entering the game board, the player will take one of his figures and place it on white crosshair, and then they'll have the remaining 2 spaces left. A figure can't move diagonally, can't be on a space that already has two of his own figures there, and when a figure moves onto a space containing an enemy, his movement stops and that space becomes contested. At the end of the move action, contested spaces will go into battle. The player who moved into the space is considered the attacker, the other the defender. The attacker will lay down cards face down from his hand that he'll send into battle. Afterwards, the defender will do the same. Both players may play cards to a maximum of their influence. Then the attacker will reveal his cards and any battle special abilities will trigger. Then the defender reveals his cards, doing the same. Next, both players roll the battle dice equal to the number of figures they have in the space and each figure adjacent to that contested space. Players add the results values and the highest value wins. The losing player will remove one figure from the contested space, placing it in the reserve and one gang card he played in that battle. If he didn't play a gang member, he needs to remove one from his discarded pile. And if there's none, then he'll go through his deck and remove one there. Battle keeps repeating itself for each contested space, so choose wisely where you want to use your gang member cards.
In the production and develop action, the player will first produce from the developments he controls on the board. Simply refer to development text to gain the effect. Afterwards, you may buy a development by paying its cost and placing the tile on a legal space on the board. An action you might want to take afterwards is sell. Here the player will discard product tokens on development tiles he controls to gain the listed Ark value. He can sell as many tokens as his influence. The buy action is simple enough. You will choose a card from one of the cards face up on the black market, pay its cost, and pick it up. You may also buy renown tokens at 3,000 Arks apiece. You can buy as many renowns as your influence. And lastly, the last action you can take is refresh. The player can discard as many cards as he likes. He then shuffles his discard piles and places it face down under his deck. Finally, he draws enough cards for his hand equal to the number of influence he has. Now let's get back to the last two remaining phases of the round.
After the players finished performing all their 4 turns, we go into the Yugai Patrol phase. Here, if there are any Yugai Control Unit tokens on the board, return them to the cloth bag and mix them up. The first player draws and reveals 2 YCU coordinate cards. Then he will draw from the bag a token and place it on the coordinates specified by the card. When all YUC tokens are placed, any space they're occupied by a player figure will have to go into battle, or can spend the required amount of arcs to bribe the Yugai, which will send the Yugai token back in the cloth bag. And lastly, the award renown phase happens. Here players will collect renown tokens for the spaces and developments they control that offer renown. And then we go back to the reset phase. When all the renown tokens are finished from the reserve, the endgame triggers and the player with the most renown wins.
The game has a nice mix of mechanics from deck building to area control and city building all in one. Our review comes out a little late, but that's just because we play a game until we feel like we have enough info to make a good review. We played this game many times with different amount of players and found that it's most fun with 4 players. 2 players is okay, but at 3 players we ran into problems when it came to attacking another gang. 2 gangs would duke it out, and then the 3rd gang would come in and destroy the 2 weakened gangs. There's also a lack of variety in the items and mercs you will purchase during the game, but some players will like this since after a couple of games you'll know the cards by heart. Setting up the random buildings and district tile each game adds a replay value and it changes up a game a little. If you play with a non-competitive group, you can go an entire game without having a single battle, which feels a little solitary. Only in a 4-player game was there lots of player interactions, from battles in the streets to bidding wars. There's a lot going on in City of Remnants, but once you play a few rounds, you get the hang of it and start building your own strategy of taking over the city. It has a nice art and good production quality. We really enjoyed this one at 4 players and it's getting 8 city districts out of 10.